r/AskReddit by Redmond Dts. If a zombie apocalypse were to happen, what is an issue people don't think about? There are so many flies. Flies eat dead flesh. They'll be zombie enemy number 1. The smell. You ever see the movies where the cops find a corpse and they puke because of the smell of one dead body? What's the smell going to be like when a huge percent of the population is decomposing and walking around everywhere? Or if you kill them, lying there not getting buried, just lying there getting more stinky. No refrigerator, so all existing food in everywhere is going to rot. Toilets will eventually stop working, so you have that to deal with. That and diseases other than being bit by a zombie and lack of medicine to treat them. This was how I found out that I was for sure born without a sense of smell. 5th grade, on a field trip, we found some roadkill baking at the side of the road. We were biking, so I picked it up and tossed it in the ditch so that the others wouldn't accidentally ride into it. I think it was a badger. Everyone was horrified. They stopped and kept asking me how I wasn't throwing up. I told them it wasn't so bad and it was not like I grabbed it by the guts. I grabbed its relatively clean leg. Then they asked, "Yeah, but the smell, dude, how?" And I just stood there and blinked. Then I asked the question that revealed so much. "Wait, you guys. Are you saying that the air around it is supposed to be somewhat different than the air not around it?" To prove my point, I jumped into the ditch, leaned above the poor thing and took a big whiff. A few people gagged. I asked what? "It ain't any different, it's just air." I may have unintentionally traumatized a few of my classmates that day. Hygiene. A lot of people take the fact we have easily accessible soap and don't realize just how easy it is to die from a small infected cut without it. Your prescriptions. I personally don't take any meds daily, but I know people who do and would eventually die without them. Even if you broke into a pharmacy or something, the meds would only last you so long. If you're lucky, the zombies will decompose until they die, but it's never safe to assume that will happen. Gas expires. Uncontrolled release of toxic and hazardous materials as a result of industrial facilities collapsing due to lack of continued maintenance. Dams collapsing and flooding out everything downstream. Power plants overheating or pressurizing and detonating. Toxic chemicals seeping into the water table or aerosolizing in fires. We made a world that we can only survive in if we keep it going. The fact that it will end pretty quickly. Shambling corpses near the equator will be at the mercy of bugs, bacteria, heat and humidity. They will be piles of bones and goo by the end of the month. Zombies have no metabolism, being dead, and as such they don't generate their own heat. The first hard freeze will lock every zombie into place like a statue. The process of freezing and thawing over time will shred their muscle and skin tissue into nothing. TLDR, nature will kick the zombie apocalypse's ass. How quickly everything goes bad, from food to gas to health to just everything. Also, they just assume they're the first people that will get to the gun store and it'll be all shoot 'em up, bang bang. There's enough zombie movies that it's the first thing everyone will do. That will result in people killing people, adding to the zompocalypse. Without a functioning fire department, cities are going to burn down fairly quickly. Most dog owners will need to choose between putting down their own dog or dying. The vast majority of dogs are not trained to stay extremely quiet when scary things are outside. Imagine having a snoring pug or bulldog. Same with babies. I always think my snoring would be a problem. Find a good hidey hole and rest for the night and everything in a mile radius would know where I am. How difficult it is to pull off causal headshots while running, especially for people with no weapons training. This is more of an overlooked survival strategy, rather than an overlooked issue. A lot of people in the US talk about how they would go raid a grocery store for food. Obviously, lots of people would have the same idea, so the shelves would likely be scarce. Personally, I would go to a pet store and stock up on dog food. Dog food is safe and nutritious for humans. Avoid cat food though, as cat food has too much vitamin A for human consumption. Most people don't take mass panic into consideration. When the shit hits the fan, mob mentality will take over and panic sets in. People become unpredictable and dangerous. Crowds trample people. Reason and logic go out the window. Everyone likes to think they will keep their cool, but you don't know until it happens. That zombies, or infected, in places with a genuine goddamn winter would be rendered immobilized or dead by the cold freezing the water in their bodies, or that they would be torn apart by wildlife in rural areas practically instantly. World War Z, it's getting mentioned a lot in this topic, noted this. Zombies would freeze solid in winter in colder areas, so people mistakenly thought the plague was over. Then spring came and suddenly hordes of zombies all over again. They tried destroying the zombies while they were frozen, but when you get 10-foot deep snow drifts it's hard to be sure you've got them all. As for animals eating them, in World War Z it's mentioned that zombie flesh is toxic and animals avoid it. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. Have a nice evening.